I'm inspired. I'm inspired.
Hey there guys, what's happening? My name is Suben Chatterjee from the Flow Zone Academy, and I'm a flow state coach, which means that I help you feel better and perform better. I'm actually not in Santorini, Greece. This is actually my wallpaper. Just so you guys know, unless you're like, whoa, damn, he's in Santorini, how do you get there so fast? Today I want to talk about the power of simplicity. I believe Josh Bailey asked me another question. I hope I got your name right, brother. And it's a very interesting question because I've thought about this idea myself on how powerful simplicity actually is. One of the reasons that I believe simplicity is powerful is because the more simple something is explained, it's closer to the truth. Right? When you're trying to get to the truth of something, you're not trying to add much more complexity to it. You're trying to add less and less layers. You're removing, you're releasing, you're letting go until you have what is left, which is the truth. So I heard this from my mentor last night, but maybe you can see this in a different way. You can't locate the address of truth where it is. You can't do that. But you can feel it and express it and be it. So do the latter and not the former. Also, how do we get to the truth? We start exposing the lies. We start by exposing the lies. By exposing the lies, we get to what is the truth. So to get to who you are, you have to get to who you are not. Simplicity is a powerful thing because it's going against the paradigm of wishful thinking type of mentality. Or like, oh yeah, maybe we can do this, maybe. No, there's no maybe. There's only doing, there's no trying, and there's no maybe. Like maybe is just gambling, you know? It's like 50-50 chance. You either win or you lose. And we live in that paradigm, unfortunately. However, I want to remind you that when you can understand the reality of the situation at its simplest level, you can save yourself a lot of emotional turmoil and overwhelm. Instead of being curious about them, right, what we do is we judge others, or we judge ourselves. Or we make assumptions about a situation, either about ourselves, about the situation, about others. We make assumptions and judgments, which takes us way, way, way far away from the fact and the truth. So having that layer of objectivity always helps. It does. It really does. From an unbiased opinion, when you're talking with your friend, they're just, oh yeah, man, everything's okay. People will give you advice like that. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, man. Yeah, it's like this fake kind of disingenuine gesturing instead of giving you actual advice on things that you can do to change, right? We're going to need to do this in a way that is very subtle, right? Just because you're simple, it doesn't mean there's no subtlety in what you do. You still seek out the subtlety, and you understand to take your ego out of the situation, because your ego is what gets you into issues, a lot of issues and problems and suffering. But when you get into the flow state, you have a moment of ego death. And so that's why I believe, it's so important to be in the flow, to be in the zone, to tap into your craft. I know you're asking about MMA, your experience with, fighting. Fighting is an incredible craft because it is this idea of being able to outmatch your opponent. And the more simple a person's moves, right, the more swift, right? What is Jeet Kune Do? Right? It's the most practical, it's not fluffy. It doesn't have this excess fluff, right? Jeet Kune Do is the most practical go-to method. It's hands-on combat, but it just gets to the movements. It doesn't, it's the same in like Grotowski, how he had poor theater. What's the point of poor theater? Well, it's just an actor, their body, their acting body, and the stage. And that by itself can create an awesome performance. You don't need like lights and fancy set design and all this kind of stuff, right? It's all fluff, it's all extraneous. Right? So the power of simplicity, you get rid of the extraneous elements that are blocking or distracting you. Okay? Then you have to make sure that you listen better, okay? Because that's how you're retaining your information. If you want to get to the power of simplicity, tune in and listen better. Listen to others. Listen to opinions you haven't heard before. Listen to different perspectives from different cultures. Because the more reference experiences you can have, the more you can recognize patterns, the more you can start to actually find what is the chain that links all of them together. I mean, this is how I got to the understanding of different truths, I started to explore different religions, and I noticed at the stem of them there is this concept of love in there. Okay? Love for others, love for yourself, love for others. And isn't that the basic truth of all there is? You know what I mean? It's like, that's what, it's getting a bit dark here, so let me just move in here. Simplify, 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 because that's, when we can simplify, it's closer to ease. There's no pressure involved in simplicity. Okay? The more simple something is, the more easier it is, because you're not fighting for things to say. You're not fighting for the words. It's just natural. Like, I didn't plan this video out, I just started speaking very openly about it. And as I started saying more things started to come into my mind. So, practice the art of simplicity. And understand that the world loves cliches for this very reason. The world loves memes for this very reason, because it has a repetitive quality to it, a shareable quality to it, that we want to share it with others. We want to give that vibe out. We want to tap into that frequency. The more simple you can make that, let's say you stand for something very simple instead of stand for something very complex, you're going to get a lot more people who are going to be tapped into it, right? You have more access to the masses, in a sense, if you do that. And you notice this in a lot of slogans that are very catchy and memorable, right? For instance, McDonald's, I'm loving it. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba, I'm loving it, right? Everybody knows that. Why? Because it's simple. Because it's simple. Golden Arches, simple. Memorable, right? Simple also equates to memorable. So this is what we got to understand, okay? I hope you enjoyed this video today. Have an amazing day. May the flow be with you and stay legendary. See you next time. Boom.